We're back once again with the 420 stream, having just learned that we might have to go to South America. So, it's time for a trip.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Ah, nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
Alright, so maybe we're not going to South America yet. Or at all.
I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
Damn it, he moved. Fine, I'll shoot you in the eye slits, you prick. Nugget. On July 15th, 1881, a Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Railroad train left Winston, Missouri. Soon after it started moving, Jesse and Frank James and Wood Height jumped on board into one of the passenger cars, while Dick Liddell and Clarence Height entered the train from the other end. A conductor named William Westfall was collecting tickets in the passenger car at the time. James brothers believed that in 1875, Westfall transported the Pinkerton agents who attacked their mother's house, wounding her and killing their half-brother. Jesse shot him in the back without warning, then approached him and shot him in the head. In that moment, Frank killed one of the other passengers who may have decided to play hero and interfere with Jesse's shooting of Westfall. Train robbery was not as profitable as expected. The outlaws collected a mere $650. Infuriated, they jumped off the train and escaped. Posse pursued them, but the James brothers and their gang were gone with the wind. The meager haul led to dissension, and Frank eventually left the gang, leaving Jesse to fend for himself with the inexperienced outlaws that were left. Because of the murders, the governor increased the bounty on both of their heads. Jesse recruited others for his gang, including the man who would eventually shoot him in the back for that bounty.
Get out here!
Okay.
Now wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this. They hopped a freight train having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So, I hopped the same train. Did you see that?
Okay. Did not know there was one behind me. Let's try this again. Less failure. Nope, same amount of failure. Nope, there was less.
The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head.
A sawed-off rifle, huh?
Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I
The
reached
James
that...
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
No.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
Jesse Woodson James is probably the Wild West's most celebrated outlaw. He was famous when he was alive, but attained the status of a legend upon his death. Despite enjoying a reputation worthy of Robin Hood, when the facts of history are examined, it's clear he wasn't much more than a thief and a murderer. As a teenager, Jesse and his brother Frank fought as Confederate guerrillas during the Civil War, alongside the infamous William Quantrill and his raiders. Some believe Jesse took part in the massacre of some 200 men and boys in Lawrence, Kansas. After the war, Jesse, like many disaffected former Southern sympathizers, turned to banditry and continued to wage his own private war. Until 1876, Jesse, Frank, and the Younger brothers robbed banks and trains as the James Younger Gang. Their legendary run came to a bloody conclusion when they tried to rob the First National Bank of Northfield, Minnesota. 2 of the gang were left dead. Cole Younger ended up in prison. Only Frank and Jesse escaped unscathed. 3 years later, Jesse James founded a new gang, but these new members weren't battle-hardened war veterans. Frank had left the gang, and without his sure hand, Jesse became paranoid and mistrustful of his partners in crime. His concerns were well-founded, however, as someone he trusted betrayed him most grievously. On April 3, 1882, after breakfast with his family, Jesse decided to wipe some dust off a photograph hanging on his living room wall. He unbuckled his revolver belt and climbed a chair while his friend Robert Ford, hoping to collect a bounty, put a bullet in the back of Jesse's head. Thus, Jesse James joined other Wild West luminaries like Wild Bill Hickok and John Wesley Hardin, who died from a gunshot in the back.
Kill that cocksucker!
Alright, time to finish this one. I got my quick shooter. Yes. Is there one in here now? Yeah.
You see him?
Yes. That is delightful.
Friends you killed!
Oh, the reload on it is so nice.
Goddamn law dog! You see that? You can run, but you can't hide. You ain't seen this. Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you.
Okay. Really, game? I just gotta wait. Maybe, okay.
I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe
What
him.
the fuck?
You don't think he met Jesse James?
What the
Oh,
fuck?
you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
But
bar.
you seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
When did this game turn into Afterfall insanity?
Well, that's better.
Coming back.
Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof.
Not much is known about Jim Reed other than the fact that during the Civil War he was a member of Quantrill's Raiders just like the James brothers and the Youngers. After the war he rode for a time with Sam Starr's gang and later with the James Younger gang. He died in 1874 in Paris, Texas from a gunshot wound. Today he's probably better known as the first husband of the infamous Belle Starr, the Bandit Queen. They met as teenagers and Belle gave birth to his 2 children. Belle Starr, or Myra Maybelle Shirley Reed Starr, also knew the Youngers and the James brothers. After Jim's demise, she turned to banditry, taking part in horse and cattle thefts and protecting other criminals, thus earning the moniker of the Queen of Bandits. The peak of her criminal activities was during her marriage to Sam Starr. It is said that after Jim Reed's death and before she married Starr, she was Cole Younger's wife for 3 weeks. There's no solid evidence backing that up, however. Belle Starr was famous for her impeccable style. She was usually seen riding her horse side saddle, wearing a stylish black dress with 2 revolvers and an ammo belt around her hips. She died in unusual circumstances 2 days before her 41st birthday in 1889. An unknown murderer shot Belle off the horse she was riding with a shotgun and then shot her again. The bushwhacker's identity is still a mystery. Starr's own son is among the prime suspects, as the Bandit Queen was a tough woman to live with. Said son was a bandit himself, and then became a lawman only to die in a saloon shootout in 1896. His sister Pearl plied the world's oldest trade and ran a bordello in Fort Smith, Arkansas from the 1890s until the First World War. Suddenly darkness. No.
At some point, some sumbitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!"
Damn Pinkerton!
Now, I never worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins.
Now, let's try going to the right. It's probably going to be the same shit.
You know who we are?
Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. So it's no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is that, I wonder?
Don't rightly know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember.
I bet you are.
Shoot that stupid son of a bitch! That's right! Run! I did not want to see that. This asshole don't know who he's up against.
What? Both of those shots should have hit him in the shoulder. Okay. Yeah.
It was a rickety ride and quite precarious.
Yeah, no kidding.
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward.
That's right! Run! Whoa!
I wondered if I was ever going to find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a gatling gun.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
What?
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
Shit. Well, yeah, bullet ain't gonna work. I want the nugget. Give me. Pinkerton National Detective Agency, known simply as the Pinkertons, or Pinks by the less favorably inclined, was founded in Chicago by Scottish expatriate Alan Pinkerton. Pinkerton became famous when he supposedly foiled a plot to assassinate President-elect Abraham Lincoln en route to his first inauguration. As a Union spy master, Pinkerton later founded what became the United States Secret Service. Pinkerton's detectives offered a wide range of services from personal protection to private military contracts. At the peak of its power, the agency's roster numbered more than the total active strength of the United States Army. Nobody liked the Pinkertons, but they were especially hated and feared by the outlaws of the Wild West. The railroads and banks paid top dollar for the agency to pursue criminals like Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch or the James Younger Gang. Capturing Jesse James was an obsession for Alan Pinkerton, and later it became a personal vendetta. On January 25, 1875, he organized an assault on the home of Zerelda Samuel, Jesse James's mother. The attack, which employed incendiaries among other means, caused the death of Jesse's 8-year-old half-brother Archie James. The resulting explosion also cost Zerelda an arm. Such a shameful attack on the mother and little brother turned public opinion against the agency and won the James gang new sympathizers. Alan Pinkerton explained afterwards that he never planned to set the James house on fire. That in fact turned out to be a complete lie, as a later recovered letter written in his own hand read, "Burn the house down." Alright. Now time to get fucked.
Hey, gotta reload.
Stupid place to take cover. Of course, the gatling gun is pointing in the wrong direction. It's really sad. Okay, yeah, well, they shot me through the boxes. I probably should have seen that coming. I can turn it around. Things have changed. Die. All of you, it's not.
You don't want to mess with us!
Oh, I think I do. Okay, enough of that. Let's go deal with what's left.
I was looking for Jim
nothing.
and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
You know what? No.
Stop that! It's time to end this. Die! There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day.
Yes. Yes, there are.
Kill that pisshead! It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train.
That's one word for it. Oh my God.
I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah. Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle.
And speaking of, I need to do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and break the video now, and I will catch you guys next time.